The Galactic Prince tasted blood as humanity's savage guns tore through his flagship's hull. Prince Mizar, heir to the conquering Chalnoth Empire, had expected to face primitive savages as his armada subjugated the human colonies of New Colorado. But now, with his fleet reeling from the unexpected fury of Earth's defenders, doubt crept into the prince's mind. The Chalnoth needed this victory. With their population swelling faster than their aging shipyards could support, seizing humanity's bountiful worlds had become a necessity. Imperial strategists had assured Prince Mizar that the primitives would fall swiftly before the Empire's technological might. They had not counted on Captain Gabriel Williams and Earthfleet. As the Prince's armada swept into New Colorado's orbital space, the human dreadnought Indefatigable had blocked their path. Captain Williams had stared down Mizar's vastly superior force and called the Prince's bluff, forcing the Chalnoth to commit to a full battle, or else lose face before the galaxy. Now, human ships danced gracefully between the Empire's warships, employing innovative tactics and unexpectedly advanced weapons, reverse-engineered from salvaged alien tech. The battle-tested Chalnoth found themselves outmatched by the primal ferocity of Earth's defenders and their unconventional warfare. As his battered fleet limped to the edge of the system, Prince Mizar faced a bitter reality. For the first time in living memory, the Chalnoth Empire had failed to conquer a targeted world. Worse, they had grossly underestimated the capabilities of a supposedly primitive species. This crushing defeat would send shockwaves through the galaxy and embolden the Empire's rivals. With a snarl, the prince vowed that Chalnoth would have its revenge on humanity, but he could not silence the persistent voice in his mind that wondered if the Empire had finally met its match. As the battered remnants of the Chalnoth armada regrouped at the fringes of New Colorado's system, Prince Mizar paced the scorched bridge of his flagship, the deck plates still slick with the blood of fallen crew. The stench of smoke and defeat hung heavy in the recycled air. Mizar's clawed hands clenched into fists, anger simmering beneath his scaled skin as he replayed the humiliating rout at the hands of the humans. These primitives dared to defy the Chalnoth Empire? They would pay dearly for this insult. "My lord," a lesser captain hissed, his voice raspy through a damaged vocoder. "What are your orders? Shall we surrender this system to the primates?" Mizar whirled, backhanding the captain across the snout. "Surrender? To chattel like these humans?" His eyes blazed with fury. "No! They caught us by surprise this time. That will not happen again." The prince stalked to the hollow display, surveying the remaining ships in his once proud battle group. "We shall teach them the price of defiance." Admiral Amelia Graves, veteran commander of Earthfleet and mastermind of New Colorado's defense, watched grimly from her flagship Unity as recon drones tracked the Chalnoth withdrawal. She didn't need 4 decades of combat experience to know this fight was far from finished. "They'll be back," she said, steel in her voice. "Smarter and meaner. We bloodied their snouts, but now we've got their attention." She turned to her gathered captains. "We hurt them today. Showed the galaxy these squid faces ain't so invincible after all. But they won't just skulk off with their tails between their legs. No, they'll hit us hard. Colonies, shipping lanes, whatever hurts us most." Gabriel Williams, still flush with the incredible victory pulled off by his Indefatigable, leaned forward. "Then we take the fight to them, Admiral. Their ships are tough, but they ain't invincible." His eyes sparkled as the beginnings of an audacious plan took shape. As the massive engines of war rumbled to life on both sides, Earthfleet scrambled to brace for the coming Chalnoth onslaught. Graves mustered every ship humanity could field, dispersing them to defend key systems and vital supply lines. She knew they were in for a slugging match, but this was a fight Earth couldn't afford to lose. Among the stars, human and Chalnoth ships clashed in brutal deep space battles, savage close-quarters brawls, and nerve-wracking games of cat and mouse across vast astral distances. Earth's technological edge and willingness to innovate gave its brave crews a fighting chance, barely, against the Empire's raw numbers and brute purpose. But Prince Mizar was no mindless beast. He adapted his strategies, probing for weaknesses in Earthfleet's defenses. He would lure his prey into a trap, then crush them in an iron vise. When reports reached Admiral Graves of a critical supply convoy bound for the new Sparta outpost coming under threat, she knew immediately what had to be done and who had to do it. "Captain Williams," she said over the secure comm channel, "I've got a job for you in the Indefatigable, one that's going to take guts, grit, and more than a little gall." The wily captain flashed the Admiral a crooked grin, leaning back in his chair as the plan unfolded before him. "My favorite kind of job, ma'am. When do we get started?" Captain Williams's audacious plan succeeded beyond Admiral Graves's wildest expectations. The Indefatigable, masquerading as a vulnerable supply ship, lured Prince Mizar's flagship into a devastating ambush. Earth fleet vessels erupted from concealment behind an asteroid field, their concentrated fire crippling the Chalnoth warship before it could react. Mizar snarled in disbelief as boarding shuttles latched onto his vessel's hull. Human marines in sleek powered armor stormed through the corridors, their weapons cutting down Chalnoth defenders with ruthless efficiency. The prince found himself cornered on the bridge, surrounded by grim-faced Earth soldiers. "You've lost, Mizar," Captain Williams declared, striding onto the conquered bridge. "Surrender now, and we might just let you keep that scaly hide of yours intact." Months later, Ambassador Liam Nichols stood before the towering form of Empress Azalea aboard the Chalnoth flagship Imperius. The cavernous throne room hummed with tension as Nichols presented Earth's demands. "Your Majesty," Nichols began, his voice steady despite the sea of hostile alien eyes upon him, "Earth offers you this opportunity for peace. In exchange for Prince Mizar's safe return, we ask for recognition of humanity's sovereignty, withdrawal of Chalnoth forces from our space, and mutually beneficial trade agreements." Azalea's multifaceted eyes narrowed. "You ask much, human. What prevents us from crushing your worlds once Mizar is returned?" Nichols allowed himself a thin smile. "Because, Your Majesty, we've proven we can stand against you, and next time we won't stop at the edge of our territory." The negotiations stretched for days, a high-stakes dance of threats and concessions. In the end, Azalea's pragmatism won out over the warhawks in her court. The truce was signed, and an uneasy peace settled over human and Chalnoth space. On Zephyria, Marcus Ellington felt the repercussions of this galactic shift. His trading post, once a backwater outpost, now bustled with activity as human merchants pushed into new markets. He watched a Chalnoth freighter dock alongside a sleek Earth vessel, marveling at the sight. "Never thought I'd see the day," Marcus muttered, turning to his Chalnoth business partner Zara. Her scaled face was unreadable, but her voice held a note of concern. "Not everyone is pleased with this new arrangement," Zara said softly. "There are whispers of discontent, plots brewing in the shadows." Marcus frowned, about to press for details when a commotion erupted near the docks. A group of human laborers faced off against Chalnoth dock workers, tensions rising as insults flew. Marcus moved to intervene, but gunshots rang out. Chaos erupted as the crowd scattered. In the ensuing panic, Marcus caught a glimpse of a hooded figure slipping away from the scene. Something about their movements seemed unnaturally precise, almost mechanized. He started to follow but lost sight of them in the surging crowd. Later that night, as Marcus pored over security footage with Zara, an encrypted message flashed across his terminal. The sender was anonymous, but the contents chilled him to the bone. "The peace is a lie. Rigel will restore Chalnoth glory. Choose your side carefully, human." Marcus exchanged a worried glance with Zara. The shots fired today were just the opening salvo in a new shadowy war, one that threatened to tear apart the fragile peace between their peoples. Marcus Ellington's heart raced as he crouched behind a stack of cargo containers, the acrid smell of plasma discharge filling his nostrils. Zara pressed against him, her scaled skin cool to the touch. They watched as a group of human dock workers hurled insults at their Chalnoth counterparts, tensions rising with each passing second. "We need to stop this before—" Marcus's words were cut short by the sharp crack of gunfire. Chaos erupted as both humans and Chalnoth scattered for cover. In the midst of the pandemonium, a hooded figure caught Marcus's eye. The individual moved with an unnatural fluidity, almost robotic in its precision. As Marcus attempted to follow, the figure disappeared into the surging crowd. Later that night, as Marcus and Zara reviewed security footage, an encrypted message flashed across his terminal. The peace is a lie. Rigel will restore Chalnoth glory. Choose your side carefully, human. Marcus's blood ran cold. Rigel? Mizar's younger brother? Zara nodded grimly. A hardliner with a reputation for brutality. If he's involved, this goes deeper than we thought. Over the following weeks, similar incidents erupted across human colonies and trading hubs. Ambassador Nichols, growing increasingly concerned, reached out to Marcus and Zara for assistance. Their investigation uncovered a complex web of financial transactions linking extremist groups to Prince Rigel's inner circle. Meanwhile, Admiral Graves received troubling intelligence reports. A massive installation, deep in Chalnoth space, she briefed her staff. Purpose unknown, but the scale suggests a significant military threat. As tensions mounted, Earth's leadership approved a covert operation to infiltrate the mysterious Chalnoth facility. Marcus found himself tapped for the mission, his familiarity with Chalnoth culture and Zara's insights proving invaluable. The insertion was harrowing. Marcus's team maneuvered through a labyrinth of security measures, engaging in brief, intense firefights with Chalnoth guards. As they penetrated deeper into the complex, Marcus's expectations of a military staging ground gave way to confusion. These aren't weapon systems, he muttered, examining unfamiliar equipment. It's life support? Cryogenic pods? The team rounded a corner and froze. Before them stretched a cavernous hangar, dominated by a colossal vessel unlike anything they had ever seen. Its sleek lines and massive habitation modules left no doubt as to its purpose. It's a colony ship, Marcus breathed, the realization hitting him like a physical blow. They're planning to evacuate. As the implications sank in, alarms blared throughout the facility. The Chalnoth had discovered the intruders. Marcus and his team found themselves trapped in the heart of the installation, surrounded by enemy forces and holding information that could shatter the fragile peace between their species. With no clear path of escape and the weight of billions of lives hanging in the balance, Marcus knew their next move would determine the fate of both humanity and the Chalnoth Empire. He took a deep breath, steeling himself for what was to come. Marcus's mind raced as he assessed their dire situation. Alarms blared throughout the facility, and the thundering footsteps of approaching Chalnoth guards echoed through the corridors. "We need to move now," he hissed to his team, gesturing towards the massive colony ship looming before them. As they sprinted across the hangar floor, plasma bolts sizzled past their heads. Marcus dove behind a stack of cargo containers, his team following suit. He locked eyes with Sergeant Chen, his second-in-command. "We can't let this ship leave," Marcus said, his voice low and urgent. "But destroying it could restart the war." Chen nodded grimly. "So what's the play, boss?" Marcus's gaze darted between the ship's imposing hull and the data pad clutched in his hand. An idea crystallized. "We split up. Chen, take half the team and create a diversion. Buy us time. The rest of you, with me, we're going for the engineering section." As Chen's group peeled off, drawing fire from the Chalnoth security forces, Marcus led his squad towards the colony ship's access hatch. They encountered minimal resistance inside, most of the crew having abandoned ship when the alarm sounded. In engineering, Marcus's team worked feverishly. They planted makeshift explosives on critical systems, targeting the main drive components. "This won't destroy the ship," Marcus explained as he worked, "but it'll ground her for months, maybe years." With the charges set, they fought their way to the communications array. Marcus's fingers flew over the alien controls, broadcasting on all frequencies. "To all who can hear this message, human and Chalnoth alike, the peace between our peoples is built on lies. This colony ship represents not just an evacuation plan, but a potential invasion force that could reignite our conflict. We call on Empress Azalea to answer for this deception and—" A plasma bolt struck the console, cutting off the transmission. Marcus spun to see a squad of Chalnoth soldiers pouring into the room, weapons raised. "Detonate the charges!" Marcus shouted, diving for cover as his team opened fire. The ship shuddered beneath them as the explosives tore through the engineering section. Alarms wailed, and the lighting flickered ominously. In the chaos, Marcus caught a glimpse of a familiar scaled face among the Chalnoth attackers, Zara. Their eyes met for a fraction of a second before a stray shot caught her in the chest. She crumpled to the ground as Marcus watched in horror. "Marcus, we have to go." Chen's voice crackled over the comm. "Our exit window is closing." Time seemed to slow as Marcus stared at Zara's prone form. Every fiber of his being screamed to go to her, to try and save her. But the weight of their mission, of the fragile peace they fought to preserve, bore down on him like a physical force. With a wrenching effort, Marcus tore his gaze away. "Fall back," he ordered, his voice hoarse. "Get to the extraction point." As they retreated through the corridors of the dying colony ship, the sounds of battle grew distant. Outside, the sky was alight with weapons fire as human and Chalnoth ships clashed in orbit. Marcus's team fought their way to their waiting stealth shuttle, closing the hatch just as a fresh wave of Chalnoth troops rounded the corner. As they broke atmosphere, Marcus stared out the viewport at the receding installation. The mission was a success. They had the intel, they had stopped the colony ship, and their broadcast might just change the course of human-Chalnoth relations forever. But as Marcus clutched the data pad containing their hard-won information, he couldn't shake the image of Zara's fallen form from his mind. The shuttle accelerated towards their rendezvous point, leaving the chaos of the Chalnoth facility behind. But for Marcus, the real battle, reconciling duty with the cost of their actions, was just beginning.
You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel. And for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.